hate that was equal to that held by the Jews against the Jewish people because of the way that they were treated by them. So there is a continuous war between the Jews and the Samaritans. But the focus of these parables is on the Samaritan, a man mixed with descent, considered an enemy to the Jews. Though not a Gentile and still under the law, the Samaritan customarily did not have dealings with the Jews. Hindi naman sila nakikipag-deal sa mga Jews and simply considered farthest from the modern day neighbor in every regard. You know, the Samaritan both felt and showed compassion towards the beaten man. He used the wine and the oil, an expensive good, to tend the man's wound. Mantakin ninyo, ginamit niya yung wine, and what is that? An oil. And it's an expensive thing to tend yung para gamutin yung sugat ng lalaki. He took him into an inn, paid 2 days' salary for his care. You know, the 2 denarii, it is an equivalent of 2 days' salary. So, how much is your salary? Here. Oh, don't mention it. Alam namin malaki salary. But the same amount that this man had given is a 2 days' salary. And when you go to a motel, those 2 days' salary is an equivalent of probably a 2-week stay. Diba? Yung salary mo for 2 days, you could stay in a hotel or in a regular hotel for probably 2 weeks. Magkano lang ba ang hotel? Remember, right? So that is the equivalent. So what is the point, brother? Why do you have to tell me this? You know, the point is the man have done above and beyond what is expected of him, and this is his neighbor. Diba? Though where am I? Here, sorry. So, he paid a day of salary for his care and offered to pay more as needed, with no assurance of receiving anything in return. Beyond material contribution, the Samaritan gave up his own animal, remember, and his own comfort, resigning to walk to the inn, and forfeited his anonymity by staying the night, and thereby risking false accusation or association for the crime. You know what the Samaritan did is not a very simple thing. He can become an accused to that situation. Diba? Pero he did it because of his compassion. That is the Samaritan, you know, the good thing that he did. And let me go now to my last point, the observation. And this is what our observation is. On verse 36, he asked the man, which of these do you think was the neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? And then the expert of the law replied, the one who had mercy on him. And then Jesus told him, go and do likewise. Go and do likewise. You know, when the Lord asked this question, I was thinking about it when I was living it. If I was that person, you know, when he asked, Lord, what do I need to do to inherit eternal life? Is that a wrong question? Is that a wrong question? No, it's not a wrong question. It's a valid question. We need to know. It's the right question, but with the wrong intention. That's what makes it wrong from the lawyer. Diba? And sabi naman, what it has been said there, he asked that question to test Jesus Christ. The question is right, but the intention was wrong. So we need to ask this question too. What do I need to do to inherit the kingdom of God? And this is what the Lord will tell me. You know, the one who has mercy on him, do this and do likewise. What does this tell us? Basically, this tells us that probably, actually, it was not mentioned what happened to the man. If you're going to read that parable, because the truth of the matter is, that is not an existing man. Remember, this is just a parable, it's just a big story. Right? But what's the point? The point is, the man understood that in order for him to inherit the eternal life, he needs to understand that he cannot he cannot perform every requirement, and he needs to come in the throne of God's mercy. And that's probably the reason why he mentioned the one who showed mercy. Who have given this answer? It was the Lord Jesus Christ who have given that answer, because he was the one telling that parable. And that answer came from the Lord Jesus Christ, di ba? The one who showed mercy. Now, this lawyer can say, Lord, now that I understand, I know now that I need mercy, that I could not really save myself, that no matter how expert I am, still, this is not enough. No matter how able to know the law, still I will not be able to pass. And I know that it is only through your mercy one will be saved. Though I am beaten up as a Samaritan, will be there. You as the Samaritan will be there. The true neighbor, the one who offers more of himself without self-preservation, the one who showed mercy. So in reality, who is the Samaritan? This was represented by the Lord Jesus Christ. Because the truth of the matter is, no one loves his neighbor except the Lord Jesus Christ. What did he do? He died on the cross for all of us. Right? And now that we realize all these things, now that we know that we're able to understand this parable, it's time for us to take part. You know, understanding is just one part that involves our mind. The other side is how we prove it in our action. And probably this is the reason why he said, yes, now go and do the same. You know, let us not be pretentious. Do not become plastic. And let us not be somebody who prophesies that we are Christians but cannot sin in our word. Let me go now to my conclusion. You know, on conclusion, there are 4 things that we learn from this afternoon. You know, the importance of the parable. You know, again, as I mentioned, the parable is just a story. We have to understand that all parables are salvation story. You know, these are not something that will help entertain us. All parable is meant to be understood and applied, and this is the way God's revelation and explanation to all of us. Ito yung paraan ng Lord para i-reveal niya. And we also understand the importance of the law. Remember, this parable does not wash down the importance of the law. You know, the law was designed not for individual. What do you mean by that? Nung ginawa po ang law, when the law was created, it is designed for a group of people. And that's hence, that reason why no one can surpass it individually. Because it is designed for a group of people. Initially, there was one law, but because of the way sin entered to the world, the law multiplies. Law is meant to be a guide, something to give order or to provide system. Law was intended to point us to the Lord Jesus Christ. And law, to some extent, it is not expected to be perfected. Law was introduced because of sin. And law is no longer applicable when we reach heaven, because sin will no longer be present. Kaya lang naman may law, but because of sin. Alisin mo ang sin, hindi na kailangan ng law. You know, the importance of being a neighbor, we understand that it is important to be a neighbor, but ultimately, we need to understand that no matter how much we do, still wouldn't be enough. And it is important for us to have wisdom in understanding this parable, as this were the revelation of God. It is important to understand and follow the law, as Jesus mentioned, but he did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. It is equally important to love and be a neighbor, but these things will come to waste if we will not be able to see how it is connected to our salvation. In the first place, the parable was brought up because of that reason. What must we do to inherit the eternal life? A good question with a bad intention. Parables are salvation story, and they are meant to bring us back to the Lord Jesus Christ. So this is what I was telling a while ago. When we hear parables, we have to understand what is really the context. Is this just to give compassion? No. This is meant for us to realize that we are not able to surpass the requirement. Yung sinabi ng Lord, do likewise. Do you think you could do that? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. That is just a guide for us. But once we see all this law, this should always make us understand and realize our insufficiency. And that is the reason why we need God's mercy. And that is the only time, once we realize that we need God's mercy, that's the only time we can attain salvation. Let's come to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father God, again, we would like to thank you, Lord, for this wonderful time that you have given to each and every one of us. Lord, we thank you, Lord God, for using all these parables. We understand now, Lord God, that these parables are intended for us believers. And these were meant to be hidden for those who do not understand it. For those who are not walking in accordance to your will. Lord, help us to understand it more thoroughly. Understand the context in our life. Thank you, Lord God, because now we understand that every parable should be directed to you. That every parable should make us realize how insufficient we are. Thank you, Lord God, because you are the ultimate neighbor. That you are the only supreme Samaritan, Lord God. That who was able to love us more than how we could expect this. Thank you, Lord God, again for that insight and for that message. And we just pray, Lord God, just like what you mentioned, that we are not only hearers of your word, but doers, Lord God. Lord, you have told us that we have to do it likewise. Lord, we would like to follow you. But how can we follow you if we are not going to obey you? Lord, help us to obey you first. Understand that we are sinners, that we cannot save ourselves. And only through them we can come to the throne of grace. Thank you, Lord God, once again. All these things we pray. In Jesus' name. Amen.